try to do this between wind gusts. But this is my project. I'm going to leave it a long bed. It's going to have a 6-liter 480E 9-inch Ford. The shifter's going for sure. Has a Nova clip, Nova Camaro. The work is acceptable almost. Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage in the beautiful state of Maine on the last Friday evening in June 2024. What a beautiful day. Woke up, it was about 50, got a high of about 74. No humidity, blue skies, sunshine, perfect. And I got quite a bit done. Nothing went as planned, but that's okay. From the last video left over, when we built this press brake, it had some issues. So I figured I'd start and cover this first. These springs were too tight right here, and it's funny, just tonight, a viewer sent me a suggestion just to set up in the bandsaw, the chop saw, and just cut straight down, which is exactly what I did. And it freed up my springs, and now everything works as it should. I added the height here, and added these wings on the bottom. So all I have to do is set it over the channel that's already there, push this down a little bit, and it pops under the arm. The arm does all the pushing, and it works really well. It's an extremely of the 3 press brakes I have, this is definitely the tightest one. So far so good, it works excellent. I also took some of the pieces of channel that were left over and took this profile right here and made the washes I was talking about, so I can bolt the other accessories you can kind of see over there to the table correctly, both the punch station and the shear station. So all that's left to straighten out the repairs it's had over the years is the punch station has some threaded rod and nuts instead of the pins that reach. All they do, they don't push on the bolts or the pins, it just returns everything. So it's a pretty light duty rig. I just need to get some 7/16 pins at the hardware stores and hairpin clips, and we'll be good to go. I ran out of absorbent mats Tuesday and Wednesday. I had a couple spills. I try to keep my floor oil free. I don't even have speedy dry or kitty litter, whatever you want to call it. If I have a dripper or anything, I just wipe it right up then. That's how I was trained on the job I had. That was, a hazardous situation to have oil on the floor, so I just naturally clean it up. I put a 480E on the holster on the bench. It was dripping on my cot a little bit sitting level. When it went into the holster with the pin in it, it's downhill a little bit. The phone rang, I came back, and I had gallons and gallons of oil on the floor. Got that cleaned up, ran out of pads, used every rag I had and towel. It went under everything. I wasted about 3 hours. The next day I walk in the shop, my 10-year-old 5-gallon bucket of carburetor cleaner that you soak carburetors in. The bottom of the metal bucket gave up the ghost, and it leaked a third of it onto the floor. It looked like much more. It killed the paint on my floor. The paint on my floor is not good anyway. This definitely cleaned out a 4-foot area. So, oh, woe is me. It just happens sometimes. What are you gonna do? A friend of mine offered to trade his 1-year-old toolbox for a bunch of parts that I have that he can use on his old Cutlass project. So a deal was struck, and about a week ago I hauled this box home. Halfway home, I got caught in a rainstorm. When I got home, this had water running out of everything. Every drawer was full of water. So it gave me an excellent opportunity to clean and wax the entire box. And I've been slowly moving into it. It's a nice box. It's bigger inside than it looked outside. You know, outside on the trailer, it looked good size, but when I got it inside, I realized it was bigger than the other two I had by quite a bit. My original toolbox, big toolbox, is a 1986 Snap-on I bought off the Snap-on truck when I was working at the Chrysler dealer. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was $1,800. Probably at that time, one of, if not the biggest purchase I had made tool-wise, for sure. And it came with a small TV that I gave to my mother, and it's probably still in her kitchen. The joke was I bought a TV and they threw in a toolbox. Quality-wise, that old Snap-on is held up. I'm still using it. I have no plans to get rid of it. But the drawer slides are not roller. That wasn't even a thing yet. So they don't work quite as smooth as the new boxes. The lock mechanism is just okay. A few summers ago, I bought a Harbor Freight box, roll away. I have all my engine assembly tools in it. It's 2/3 the size of this one. You know, for the $400 I paid for it, quality-wise, I gotta say, comparing, there's a lot more to that equation, but just the feel of it, it's a damn nice box. And so is this one. So I have it 3/4 full, and I haven't even tried. I have, for instance, the top drawer is full of my measuring tools, micrometers and stuff like that I had strewn everywhere. But now, the Chevy truck, or GMC. I'm not sure what it is. I have two noses for it. The one in the thumbnail, and we did a walk around at the beginning of the video, that truck belonged to a friend of mine. It actually belonged to his grandfather in Kansas. And his older brother had sent a hot rod guy out in Kansas a lot of money to make a hot rod out of that. And what he got back is what you see sitting outside. It has a Frenched antenna for the radio that's not there, but the whole is a third brake light above the bed, really low, and that Nova Camaro subframe welded on, probably with a stick welder, but it's no worse than the Chevrolet welding on the subframe. If you've ever studied those early subframes, the welding is really crude. But regardless, it got shipped from Kansas to Maine, put in a barn, and lost, literally, for 12 years. I heard about the truck for years and years. My buddy and I used to ride bikes together and would, head out in search of it, but never have the right address. Never laid eyes on it until the day he talked to his older brother, and his older brother said, "Here's the address, go get it, it's yours." We brought it here, stripped it to a million pieces. The frame set in the woods. The cab went to his house. The bed sat on the ground for a long time. Fortunately, didn't hurt it any, sitting here. I moved it, I don't know how many times. It sat twisted and bent, and the frame's been shoved in between every tree I have out back over the last 15 years. Finally, one day, my friend called and said, "If you want that truck, I'm tired of paying the storage unit where I have all the extra parts for it, come get it." And we struck a deal, and I promised I would put it together. And I'm gonna do that. My expectations for it, it's not gonna be fancy. Any paint to cover I just wanna negate the rust. It's gonna come out of a spray can as I go. Like, I'm gonna put the windows in it, I'm just gonna paint around the opening and go ahead and put the windows in and work on it that way. And that is fun. No big stress. I have the grand scheme of how, if you wanna build a perfect project, you'd start with the frame and go from there. Well, in this case, everything's just okay. The frame's painted black. I'll just touch up where I need to, fix what I need to. And as I've finally learned, that's where the fun is. Low stress projects, work on it when you can. What has David Freiberger said? Don't make it right, just get it going, or something to that effect. So it will not be fancy, but it'll be cool. The truck sits really low, and I say I have a 6-liter, the ATK motor that I bought. It's in the way. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. When I get to the point it was enough sheet metal to cover it, because I don't have room to have it inside forever, so I need to get everything sealed up to the point where all my new parts are safe. Same with I have disc brakes for the front and all that stuff, but I don't want to put them on there and have them rust. So I'll deal with that. 4L80E, I bought a nice GM Reman core the other day for $400, so I'll clean that up. I have a wiring harness. I have a PCM that's already unlocked. I have a couple 9-inch Fords I'm going to put in it. It has a GM mid-size rear end in it. I'll see what's in there, if it's worth keeping, but it's probably coming out. So, and that should be a really cool truck. So I'm looking forward to that. And yes, I have a lot of projects going on, but I feel at this point the spot it was parked in, I needed for something else, another project I dragged home. So this one got the nod to be dragged out, and we'll commence on it, because you can't finish it if you don't start it. So that's it for tonight. We're caught up, at least for this week, kind of. There's a lot more that went on, but I don't want to bore you any more than I already have. Hope you have a great weekend coming up, and I'll talk to you soon.